Present Miss April Morris, who requests bail release through this application. The defendant faces two criminal charges, which include aggravated home invasion under Section 77B of the Crimes Act 1958, Victoria, and possession of a drug dependence under Section 73 of the Drugs, Poisons, and Controlled Substances Act 1981, Victoria. The first charge of aggravated home invasion falls under Schedule 1 of the Bail Act 1977. The application follows Section 4A exceptional circumstances because the first charge qualifies as a Schedule 1 offense under the Bail Act 1977. The following points will be presented to Your Honor about the legal framework, the applicant's personal situation, the existence of exceptional circumstances, police inability to prove unacceptable risk, and the proposed bail conditions under Section 5 AAA. The Bail Act establishes Section 4(1) as a starting point which supports bail release except when Schedule 1 includes the offense of aggravated home invasion. The Honorable Judge needs Ms. Morris to prove through evidence that special circumstances exist which would allow her to release from detention under Section 4A of the Bail Act. The police need to demonstrate that the applicant creates an unacceptable danger to society under Section 4D when they establish exceptional circumstances. The police must show that the applicant creates an unacceptable danger under Section 4D after establishing exceptional circumstances. Your Honor needs to evaluate the risk by examining all elements from Section 3 AAA, which includes personal background information, details about the offense, case strength, criminal record, and any existing vulnerabilities. The Charter of Human Rights and Responsibilities Act 2006 grants bail entitlements through Section 21(6), but only when there are no valid reasons to deny it. The Bail Act follows this principle through its structural design. The following section examines situations which exceed normal circumstances. The combination of Miss Morris's life history, her stable environment, her community connections, her clean criminal record, weak prosecution evidence, and her specific prison risk establishes sufficient grounds to meet this standard. A. Strong community ties. Miss Morris spent her entire life in Melbourne after her birth in that city. She lives with her 2-year partner Paulina, who backs her court documentation process. The relationship maintains solid connections to the local area. B. Exceptional stability. Miss Morris works as a marketer at Melbourne, where she earns $125,000 annually. She maintains more than $50,000 in savings and owns $75,000 worth of shares. And she holds a commercial pilot license. The evidence demonstrates she handles her responsibilities with care while pursuing her future objectives through a stable existence. C. Minimal criminal history. She received a driving while suspended charge 5 years ago, which led to no conviction. The record contains no evidence of violent conduct or drug or alcohol problems or legal restrictions. D. Weakness in the prosecution case. The serious nature of the allegations does not match the fact because there was no weapon involved. No pre-planning occurred and no attempt to flee from police. The incident seems to have happened without any prior planning. The amount of substance she had matched the quantity needed for personal consumption instead of distribution purposes. The reference about her childhood friends who belong to a gang lacks any meaningful connection to the case. She has no current contact with these people and her criminal history shows no signs of gang involvement. E. Vulnerability in custody. The penicillin allergy and her hay fever conditions she had make it difficult for medical staff to provide proper care during her detention. Her position as a well-known social media influencer makes her more vulnerable to danger during her time in detention. F. Delay. The case involves multiple witnesses, medical reports, property valuations, identification disputes, which will lead to a long process of committal and trial. The case will need to wait for an extended period of time before it reaches trial. The combination of her stable life, clean record, and prison risk makes her case qualify under the Glory Hyde Exceptional Circumstances framework. The combination of all these factors show that Miss Morris encounters situations which go beyond normal circumstances. The Section 4A Exceptional Circumstances test is satisfied according to our submission. The police need to prove that Miss Morris presents an unacceptable danger to society. We believe they will fail to prove this point. We submit they cannot. A. Risk of failing to appear. She maintains all her life connections in this area because she lives with her partner and works and manages her finances and holds a driver's license. She does not have any tendency to flee from justice. She avoids visiting Central City because she finds it unpleasant. B. Risk of further offending. The defendant has no history of violent conduct and shows no signs of substance abuse or gang involvement or increasing criminal behavior. All available evidence shows she will not break any laws during her time under bail. C. Risk of interference with witnesses. The complainant, Miss Kendall, remains unknown to Miss Morris. There are no reports about Miss Morris making contact with Miss Kendall or attempting to intimidate her or send threats. The risk becomes non-existent when proper bail restrictions are put in place. D. Risk can be controlled. The Bail Act, Section 5AAA, requires courts to establish bail conditions which reduce risk when they find any degree of danger exists. The following set of specific and enforceable conditions has been proposed. She must stay at her Kenningston residence. She needs to visit North Melbourne Police Station every day. She needs to keep distance from everyone who participates in this case. She needs to remain inside her house during the time period from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. She needs to hand over her passport to the authorities. Your Honor, the combination of Miss Morris' stable condition, her family condition, social connections, her history of non-violent behavior, weak prosecution evidence, her risk of harm in prison, and the extended period of detention fulfill the exceptional circumstances standard of Section 4A. The police lack sufficient evidence to prove she presents an unacceptable danger to society under Section 4D. The court handles all remaining security matters through Section 5AAA bail conditions. The evidence before the court demands Your Honor to approve bail for Miss Morris. Those are my submissions.